Fusion reaction in T-minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion! You don't know the power.
The math is unfrontable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get to the chopper! Press go up.
Gigantic fusion reactor that just worked.
Multiple income streams and real yield. Cheats can no longer dump on your heads. The revolutionary decentralized finance protocol. Fusion reaction in T-minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion! You don't know the power.
The math is unfrontable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
The mothership.
And what's it gonna do?
Everybody excited?
Oh, hell yeah.
Give my creation Fusion.
Get ready to rumble.
Fusion.
Shout out to Cool Sheet. That song just hits.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. As always, I'm joined by my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA. LA, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. It's been another productive, successful day, and we're excited to be here with all of you.
Yeah, no doubt. Again, another week down, man. I can't believe it's almost, well, it is the middle of July now. Time is absolutely flying, and we have a lot to talk about today. Some unprecedented events, you know, the overall market recovery, how a lot of crypto is driven by narrative, and how that plays into what we're doing, and a lot of other bullish updates, as well as just some overall updates within our ecosystem. So that being said, I think we're going to jump right in. LA, do I sound okay today? I did get a new microphone. I don't know if you guys can let us know in the live chat if the audio is better or the same or at least doable today. That would be great. And as always, please remember, yeah, does it sound all right, LA?
Yeah, you always sound good to me, so they'll have to let us know.
All right, awesome.
Let us know on YouTube.
Perfect. Okay. And as always, I was going to say before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, it really helps our algorithm and our overall YouTube. We shared some really bullish stats on the last AMA. LA, it was something crazy, like 200,000 minutes watched, right?
214,000
Wow.
minutes watched in the.
Yeah, that's incredible. So, all right, now they're saying you sound too low, LA. Oh man, never a dull moment. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm at 50%. I'll turn myself up to 70. How's this now?
All right, hopefully we got that figured out. if we max me out, then we know that'll always be 200. And then now we just gotta find your number. Oh, all right,
How's
good.
this, guys? How's this now?
They're saying better. All right, cool. I think we're good. All right. Oh, maybe a little bit more LA, one more notch. Let's try 80, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Ah,
Yeah. All right, so let's
alright.
jump right in. I mean, we've been notoriously having hour or plus AMAs, but lots to go over. And as the ecosystem grows, it's only going to get more and more, I'm afraid. But again, this is the opportunity for all of you to, get your questions answered, to get up-to-date information, and that's why we take the time twice a week to do these AMAs. So if you do have questions, please remember to ask them in the live chat, or you can ask them in the dedicated channel on Discord as well. But it has been absolute unprecedented times. Again, if you've been living under a rock, we saw the attempted assassination of President Trump over the last few days. Again, we're not going to get too political in this AMA, but Trump has been a major crypto supporter, and obviously, I think with him, and again, no, not to get political, but with him becoming a front runner now, I think in the American political race, that is really, really good news for crypto and crypto adoption. And I think we're seeing that happen in the charts. I mean, we said last week or 2 weeks ago that that might have been the final dip before we get into the real bull run. And over the last few days and week, we've seen that starting to play out. And with that, we've seen meme mania again. This has been the summer of the memes, and usually memes are a great indicator of the incoming bull run. So when memes really start to take off, that means the overall market is heating up. Then we'll see memes die, and that's when blue chips really start to go crazy. And then the actual top of the market is when blue chips go down, and there's a complete resurgence in all of the altcoins. So that's usually how we see it. Again, history, is not indicative of the future, but we can place our bets that that is how the cycle will go, based on what we've seen. So, and with that, again, ETH is looking great. BTC is looking great. Memes are up, especially Trump-related memes. But I think a lot of it too is the ETF approval of Ethereum. So again, our timing is incredible with all that. I believe it's July 23rd that they will officially launch the Ethereum ETF, and that will, again, I think it's already been baked in. We may not see, an overnight double on ETH, but as we know with Bitcoin ETF, the buying pressure will only continue over time. So really exciting stuff. And in terms of our ecosystem, we've still seen a really consistent sacrificing flow. Again, between 50 and 100K a day. We had 200K in one day a few days ago. So the average has been really strong. And, again, have over 250,000 EMP sacrificed since last week is really, really bullish. So, and the chart looks good. I mean, when you zoom out, there is an amazing up and to the right on EMP, which will ultimately lead into a supply squeeze. So, or a supply shock. I mean, again, the more people buy EMP and sacrifice it, it's just based on the math that EMP will go up in price, and we're able to recover and then maintain peg overall. So, LA, you want to maybe touch a little bit on narrative? I know, we there's so much psychology behind crypto. That's more than half the battle when it comes to a lot of this. But maybe just talk one more time because you do such a great explanation of how, everybody wants to pile on when others are doing the same action, but the real opportunity is buying before that happens. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, for sure. And I also want to touch on something that someone said in the chats earlier. But um, I mean, this is the perfect example what's happening right now of what AJ just said. I mean, it's not like anything in the overall economy other than the major event that just happened changed. It's not like everyone's wages just went up or there was a Fed vote or anything like that. It was a major event, and people capitalized on that event with all these meme coins and everything. And um, like it has literally sent the market on fire. But as people have seen that other people are buying, it's not like all of this has just happened because of meme coins and that. It's certain things triggered an uptick in the market. And when certain people saw other people buying, then everyone wanted to buy. And we go into this buying cycle, right? Because people want to do what other people are doing. And when we're in a period of stagnation, it usually stays that way for a little bit, but it just takes those few bold people to trigger that action. And then everyone tends to be sheep. Honestly, everyone wants to do what everyone else is doing. But it's the people that are the outliers who really get to win the most, because when you have the willingness to actually think about what is going to be best, not what everyone else is doing, because by the time everyone else is doing it, it's way too late to get the best deals on things.
Totally.
But I did want to touch on something someone said in the chat earlier that just makes so much sense. It was False King. He said, I don't have enough. Wait, no, was it him? Oh, I can't afford to buy ETH and see significant gains, but I can buy with EMP. And, we are 100% going to be back at peg. And when you think of it that way, you're buying your EMP, you're sacrificing into Fusion, you are capitalizing on those ETH gains, both present and future, by getting into EMP Fusion. And that's such a great way to think of it. Because no, maybe you don't have an extra $3,400 today to buy an entire ETH. Maybe you have $300, maybe you have $1,000, and you can get an insane peg bonus for sacrificing into Fusion and actually just have this incredible gain for the future, both when we get back to peg and as Ethereum rises and rises and rises in value. So those who are taking a look at the prices of EMP today and saying to themselves, wow, look at just this tiny little event. And obviously someone nearly dying is not a tiny event, but what I mean is, like, it wasn't the election, it was something pre-election that none of us expected to happen. Like, it wasn't a pre-planned big event like the election. So when I say tiny, that's what I mean. I don't mean that it wasn't significant in that someone just died. I'm not taking that lightly whatsoever. But um but just this tiny event sparked all of this uptick in the market. What is going to happen to my microgrid value when we get into the full swing of the bull run? If I can take advantage of this 20-cent EMP right now and get this peg bonus, I may never get this opportunity again to get this type of um, not only the access to the microgrid value, but the ability to have that much of a link to ETH and its future appreciation. So,
Totally. No, 100%. Again, not only are we bonded to ETH with the deep liquidity, but as we do recover PEG, that is only solidified because there theoretically will not be any more EMP to dump us down below PEG. And, I know a lot of people ask, why is PEG even significant? And that is the reason. You get full exposure to Ethereum from here on out. So, again, to LA's point, which there's just so many factors that I think people are just still overlooking. With Fusion, you get that price appreciation in your microgrid, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in the Fusion section. But if not if, but when ETH doubles or triples from here, even in this cycle, not to mention what could happen 10 years from now. But that means your microgrid value would also double or triple. So again, there's just so many factors that play into uh, why Fusion is incredible. But yeah, and again, don't be that person that says, "Man, I wish I would have." I get it. Don't ever invest more than you can afford. Some people are completely tapped out. If you had been building your bags over the last year, then you're positioned extremely well, buying assets really really cheap. But just don't get caught off guard because as we can see, it takes one event to have the markets explode. Again, Bitcoin and ETH up, I think 7% in the last 24 hours alone. So crypto is just extremely volatile in that way, and it's up to you to prepare for the future. So, all right, awesome. All right, any other comments before we get into specific updates, LA? Oh, you there? Oh,
Yeah, I wasn't able to unmute myself, sorry. No, I think we can move on.
okay, perfect. All right, so up first is the Cultivator. So the Cultivator is one of our DOS products, and for those that don't know, the original founder of that basically rugged the community on the Xro token, and so we had implemented a partial refund for those that were affected. Obviously, we did everything we could to protect the community, but didn't know or didn't even think that the founder would, just sell everything. So, that being said, the migration has been completed. So, those of you that were in Cultivator pre exploit, and again, I use that word lightly because there was nothing wrong with our contract. It was simply the founder dumping all of his tokens. But if you were in prior to that, you are now given credit. We have pushed it live on the site. You're only eligible for this if you were in Cultivator at the very beginning prior to the snapshot. So if you go to Cultivator and it says unavailable or credited, then don't worry about this. Again, this is just for people that have been around a long time. So we advise everyone. That being said, you're not able to deposit into Cultivator after this upgrade. And again, we advise that you don't buy Xro and support that at all. So anyway, if you were able to fill out the form as well, we will be doing the manual credit for level X. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you missed the deadline or you simply weren't involved with that. But I can show my screen. LA, would that be helpful? Let me pull it up. Hang on one second.
For sure. Yeah, and while he's doing that, I'll explain. There will be a couple options on your screen. So if you do qualify, it will say migrate on your screen, so you'll be able to click it. If you have already completed the migration, or if you don't qualify, say for example, all your deposits were made after the snapshot was taken, it will say completed/unqualified, and the button will be grayed out, so you won't be able to click it. So he'll show his screen and you'll be able to see that.
Yep, so you go to DOS. You will go to Cultivator. And again, right now it says approve, but let me just go ahead and do that so you can see. Obviously, if you're not involved in this, we suggest don't doing what I'm about to do, but at least you'll be able to see. So there you go. It says completed or unqualified. So again, there's multiple things. If you were eligible but you have claimed more than you had deposited, then you will also not be qualified. even if you were part of the snapshot. But if you haven't, then it will just say migrate, and then you hit migrate, and then it will give the dollar value of that snapshot at the time that we took it. It's about half of the value will be credited to your microgrid. So you'll see your microgrid go up in value. And again, it's not a lot, so others shouldn't be worried about dilution. And we paid for this I paid for it out of my own EMP allocation. So again, no treasury funds or any other EMP was used for this, just to try to show some good faith that even though we do everything we can in terms of due diligence, if there is an issue, we do our best to make it right. So, and again,
For
if you're in as well, you'll still be able to claim or compound. At this point, I would say just claim every day until the contract is, no more. I mean, it's already. I think there's only about $1,000 of LP total anyway, so you may not even be able to claim because of gas. But just again to give you the full story. So yeah, go ahead, LA. Sorry, you want to add?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, perfect. All right, let me go back to my
Oh,
screen.
and then just that level X is also going to be completed. Those of you who were on the list who filled out the form correctly and did qualify, that will also be completed in the next couple days as well.
Yep, and that will just be a manual credit. You won't have to do anything, so don't fall for any scammers. I love it. I actually had messaged somebody, the real me, about helping test the migration, and they called me a scammer. So I love it. They passed the test. I won't call it out who it was, but pretty good, right, LA? When in doubt, it's always best to just do nothing, right?
Yes. Yeah, that was funny actually. We needed to find a few people outside of the team to test the migration for us. And this was the one time that AJ and I were actually DMing a few people without letting them know ahead of time.
Yeah,
And the one person that AJ messaged screenshotted the conversation and put it into the chat because they thought it was a scammer. But it was actually the real AJ. And we were proud of him because he did what we tell you guys on every AMA to do, to not engage with people who are randomly DMing you, because most of the time it absolutely is a scammer.
I
This was
love
the
it.
one exception. So we're very proud of him
Yeah,
for doing what we suggest.
yeah, totally. And I found myself like justifying me messaging him, and everything I typed was like, "Oh my God, I sound like a scammer." Like it was hilarious. It was just cracking
Well,
myself up.
AJ, what you have to do next time is tell him to go to the main group, click on the pin post, and then click on your name, and then click on messages.
Yeah.
And if it opens up your same chat, then he'll know you're not a scammer.
Yeah, that is always the best way. Again, or wait for me to get on an AMA and do. We had another really smart guy that I asked, and he said, "Can you get on voice?" And so yeah, that was another way of doing it. Again, but now with AI technology, you never know. They may imitate my voice as well. But anyway, so yeah, shout out to all of you for that were able to help test. It's now live and yeah, Cultivator will be retired after this. So, all right, awesome. Anything else with that before we move on to Fusion?
No, I think that's it.
All right, perfect. So, in terms of Fusion, we know that everyone has their differing opinions about what the highest priority is and what should be worked on right now at this particular moment. But we do need to just let all of you know that we have a very specific strategy and detailed plans in terms of how this all is coming together. So, we've talked about it many times, but right now is full peg recovery, mode, and we're working hard behind the scenes. We had a great developer meeting today. A lot of our high importance items are being worked on as we speak. But we do things in a certain way to maximize, the future of the protocol. So I know, people think we should be working on migrations or, other things, but right now we have a very specific plan of what is being worked on. And a lot of those things that are being worked on are also additional revenue streams. So again, everything can be solved with it more revenue. And that's another thing that I think people just still are not really grasping. Because of this real revenue and real yield model, even if there is no participation in EMP or eShare or any of that, because of the yield, the Treasury alone is able to essentially buy and burn EMP or buy and burn eShare to have price appreciation. So we're 100% different than, you know, these other protocols that require new users. And, the more that we talk about it, I hope the more that sinks in. But that is why EMP, one of the many reasons of why EMP Fusion is just so bullish, is that we are in charge of our own destiny, whether or not we have new participants or not. And obviously, we want new people to participate, but we're not reliant on that. So it's really a big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, go ahead, Ellie. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say is we so much so value all of your suggestions and ideas. And I think that you know that because, I mean, AJ and I spent 2.5 hours the other day on the phone going through every single suggestion and talking about every single one of them and, prioritizing them and slotting them into our development schedule. And we took every single one of them seriously. There wasn't a single one missed. But at the same time, I want you to understand that we all see the world through our own through a lens of our own experiences. And that's why working in a team is so valuable because as an individual, you're going to judge importance based on your own position in the protocol. And what you see as important is going to be things that are slated towards, you know, where you have a larger holding or what will affect your own deposit more. Even if you think you're being impartial, we'll always see the world through a lens of our own experiences, our own beliefs, our own, you know, ideas. It just always happens that way. And that's why working in a team is so incredibly valuable because when we have these development meetings, there's 5 or 6 or 7 of us on the phone, all throwing ideas and weighing, their validity and, their safety and everything back and forth and speaking about what's the highest priority and what needs to be done and how viable things are and what's going to help the protocol the most. And between 5, 6, 7 people and everybody's joint experience of the world and experience in crypto and experience with people and knowledge and ideas and backgrounds, that's how things really move forwards because um it's not totally pushed forwards by one person's ideas, by one person's beliefs, by one person's experiences. It's very much so moving forwards in a very well-rounded place that is being seen by many eyes and being made sure that things are safe by many eyes and many brains. And while we very much so appreciate ideas and that you may think that certain things are important, we also really invite you to trust that the priorities that we put on our list as high, medium, low, we very much so they're there for a reason because an entire team of people believe that that's the right order of priorities. So we promise you that the protocol is in great hands and that we're pushing it forwards in the right direction and at the pace that we believe is going to bring us organic and sustainable growth.
Yep. 100%. And we have the track record that backs that up. I mean, again, it's one thing to come on an AMA and just say all of that, but it's another thing that we have proven ourselves over the last 2.5 years to make, more right decisions than not. And again, everything, all the brain power, all the effort, all the math that has gone into Fusion literally eliminates all the pitfalls that we've seen in other protocols and what we've learned over those 2.5 years. So, yeah, 100% LA, great points. And, we are, everything is still completely on track. I think that's another, maybe a little bit of misconception is like that where EMP Fusion is struggling. That's not the case at all. Again, we have a very strategic plan. The plan is in place. The plan is working as intended. If you zoom out on the chart, again, we're not big chart watchers, but a lot of you are. So if you zoom out on the chart and look from May of this year to now, it is literally a gradual up and to the right movement that is a rock solid trend line. Obviously we had a big swing trader that put a little bit of a mountain peak in the middle. But if you zoom out and look from May, it is a very slow and steady gradual increase with a rock solid trend line going up and to the right. And, again, we never said that we had a timeline on when we would recover PEG. Unfortunately, no matter how successful we are, the timing is just something that we can't predict. The future, however, we can say that it is absolutely 100% unequivocally going to happen that we will recover PEG simply from what I said earlier, that if nobody is buying EMP, or even if people are selling EMP, the treasury over time will use the yield to recover PEG without any new users. And that is bullish. I mean, again, no other protocol can say that. Uh, but we can, and no other protocol, has the revenue streams that we do. We have actual decentralized exchanges. We have a healthy treasury earning thousands. We have other diversified investments, that generate yield. We have Fusion itself generating real yield and fees. I could go on and on and on. Referrals. YouTube has nothing to do with crypto. I mean, you name it. So we are really well diversified. And even if one of those revenue streams goes down or dies or disappears, we have all the others to make up for it. And over time, we add even more revenue streams to balance out and ultimately create more revenue over time. So those are all the reasons why, again, it's not just words, it's actual math that supports what we're saying. So, again, LA, I know the other last thing before I end, and I'll let you add anything here, as well as Eshare. We've seen Eshare be very volatile. I mean, I know that we've been buying Eshare again at these low prices and just burning it because it's so crazy that people want to sell at these prices. But the idea is that eShare will be extremely healthy and strong when we are finally able to recover PEG. That's not to say that we're
Yes.
ignoring eShare now, but do you want to go into that a little bit, LA?
Yeah, so we've gone over this on quite a few AMAs, but not for a couple weeks here. So let's kind of go over the 3 stages of our plan again.
For sure.
So stage number 1 is all about PEG recovery and starting to recover the ecosystem. So that's what stage we're in right now. We're working on recovering PEG. We're working on getting as much of the EMP supply sacrificed as possible so that as we recover PEG, other people can't dump on our heads and really make that much of a difference. If we were to recover PEG today, like all of a sudden, there's still enough EMP in circulation that it could still be a very turbulent experience of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, because there's enough left in circulation that there's a lot still to dump on our heads.
For
We're
sure.
working on getting a gradual rise up with more and more and more and more sacrificed so that as we get closer to PEG, there's really not that much left in circulation that we don't personally own. so that there's really not much left to be dumped on our heads. And that's when Fusion gets really interesting, because you have to buy your microgrids out of the marketplace in order to get into Fusion. And that's when things get really valuable to be an owner inside Fusion, right? Stage 2 is really working on Eshare health. We're back to peg. We can initiate our peg bots, and we can really start working on building Eshare health. We should organically start to see Eshare rise at that time, because at that time, with no more peg bonus, there is no longer an inclination to sell Eshare for EMP to then sacrifice. We also have some more batteries coming. That would be more of an incentive to purchase more energy with your eShare to get those batteries. Again, when there's almost no or no EMP left on the market and microgrid buying becomes more popular, you'll need your eShare in order to buy those microgrids. So there's going to be a lot more you can do with your eShare, as well as we will be buying and burning eShare, or just simply buying eShare off the market in order to help raise that price and get eShare really, really healthy again. Stage 3 is all about focusing on our additional revenue streams. We have the game that we're going to go into a lot. We have our new DEX coming on BSC. And in the future, I'm sure a lot of other chains coming as well. We have a lot of additional revenue streams that we plan on building right into Fusion, as well as outside of Fusion. So there's so much on the horizon, but stage 3 revolves around upping the revenue inside and outside of the protocol to get the rewards up as we get up to peg, so that there's no discrepancy between where we're at now and where we end up then, and actually raising them from that point. So
For sure.
does that sound, do you want
Yeah,
to add on to that?
yeah, it was amazing. Again, I appreciate you going through it all, saving my voice a little bit today. But yeah, that was a great explanation. And yeah, I mean, again, that boils down to what we said earlier about having a very strategic plan. And it's all done for a reason. Number one is exactly what LA said. I mean, we have the treasury funds to get to peg tomorrow, but doing one large buyback of EMP like that is really not a good idea. We saw it many times. For those of you that have been around, we tried a peg recovery strategy that was not successful about a year and a half ago. But that was simply just buying off the market, and obviously, that is not sustainable. And we saw people dump it back down, and everybody lost confidence again. So this is much more well executed and thought through and planned. And again, now that EMP is deflationary, at the very least, it's a cap supply. But because again, we do burn some of it as well, it is deflationary. And everybody sacrificing in EMP Fusion is essentially burning EMP anyway. Uh, that is so, so powerful in terms of economics. And we said it a little bit earlier, but 70% of the overall EMP supply is already accounted for, which again is still way ahead of schedule in terms of sacrificing that we had even anticipated. So everything is so on track. And yeah, I mean, in due time, everything will come together. And I know the biggest thing everybody says is, APR, rewards, what can I earn? And I get it. I mean, that is what we become accustomed to, and why we're in crypto. We're all here to make money. But if you have at least, I mean, we're not even asking for that long. We're asking for maybe a 6 month to a year view on the overall ecosystem. The rewards and the microgrid value will be beyond, what you can even imagine. And the reason we're able to do that is because we have exposure to Ethereum, and we have a very healthy infrastructure of real yield to accomplish all of that. So again, I think in the next few months, we'll continue to see the power of this mechanism come into play of getting rid of the supply and really creating a true supply shock on EMP, which then will and we said this many times, will kick off the flywheel. So imagine you're trying to start an engine on the lawnmower and you're pulling the cord and it's not starting, but you just keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it. Eventually it starts and goes off to the races, right, LA? How about that for an analogy? Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't flood the engine, you're good to go.
Yeah, totally. So, so we're almost there. I mean, again, we're every day we're closer and closer. So, all right. Anything you want to add to that before we talk specifically about ETH and microgrid value?
No, I might actually have to jump the gun and skip to the next section because I'm too excited about it.
All right, awesome. Well, do you want to jump right in, do you? And then I'll elaborate for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So today I wanted to do a little experiment just to confirm what I already knew, because we all know, my strengths lie in other areas outside of math. But that being said, obviously I can do basic things and
You're
confirm
still
things.
you're still a smarty pants, LA. Come on, don't sell
Oh, I
yourself short.
absolutely
Yeah.
am a badass and very smart. Just I'm very right-brained,
For
as
sure.
opposed to left-brained, and very creative. But that being said, I went on to CoinGecko. I saw ETH had rise by 14.6%, and I remembered what my microgrid value had been at the day before, and I simply put that amount into my calculator and put plus 14%. And it literally showed me what today's microgrid value was at, and more or less, like give or take a little bit. But I mean, God, if that little blimp caused by one event raised our microgrid values by 14% in one day, can you fucking imagine? We're back to peg. ETH is at $10,000. Like, our microgrid values are going to be off the goddamn charts.
I love it.
It's going to
Let's
be
fucking
insane.
go.
It's insane. 14% in one day, your microgrid value raises by. Are you kidding me? That's
Totally.
insane. Okay, it's just crazy. Okay, and we haven't even gone into any of the places that we plan to go yet.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, and we have a lot to talk about, but I want to cut you off really quick because all the haters say,
Please
yeah,
do.
all right, awesome. All the haters say, well, that doesn't matter or it's unrealized gains. And that, again, is really not the whole story. I mean, in terms of selling it right this minute, yes, that is absolutely true. But over time, and again, we've talked about this as well, of having a battery that will be the ultimate. Uh, FUD buster. In terms of peg being actual peg value, but we'll talk more about that when the time is right. But the fact is that once we do recover peg, that is the actual market value of EMP and therefore your microgrids. And the only way to get into Fusion is buying at that level. Again, even if you have to discount it for say 10, 5, 10%, that is orders of magnitude higher than what you paid for the actual microgrid value, not including all the bonuses. So and again, everybody says, well, the APR is low. If you factor in the price appreciation of your microgrid value, especially on pumps like this, even if you are selling at a 5 or 10% discount of market value, you're essentially getting a 5x, which is, what, 1500% APR, and if you do it within a year. So again, there's a lot of factors that I think people just don't really think about in terms of how bullish EMP actually is. And again, the other argument is, there has to be demand for the microgrids, but by the time you're ready to sell your microgrid to take profit, that is when we are scaling our revenue and rewards, potentially even 10 times what they are today. And, a lot of that is just based on the market itself appreciating, not to mention, like I said, the game, and, probably 10 other revenue streams within the next year that we're able to implement. So does that make sense, LA? Again, I want to play devil's advocate a little bit, but I think that we have answered all of the haters. Yeah, so
Haters gonna hate, but we gonna prove them wrong.
exactly, 100%. So, all right, I didn't mean to cut you off. Was there more little points that you want to make from the notes? Go ahead.
No, I love when you bring me back down to earth and you put
Yeah,
logic into
I love it.
it.
Yes.
Sometimes I just really, just go crazy with like how amazing things are. But this is just the tiniest glimpse of how powerful these microgrids are and why it's so important now while there's still EMP available on the open market. And while you're still able to get this incredible peg bonus to build your ownership and your microgrid value as much as possible. Because as we get closer to peg and as the price of ETH rises, so does your microgrid value. And aside from the daily yield you're earning, that will be absolutely massive when you get the opportunity to realize that value.
For sure.
So,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah, and we're working hard behind the scenes, every single day to add additional revenue streams and even more utility. And some of this utility, will also give us access to tap into other big communities, get them excited about Fusion. I mean, we have so much happening that not only is a yield booster, but it's also an adoption booster. And that's so cool because Fusion can accomplish all of that utility, marketing, yield. I mean, it's all part of the Fusion ecosystem. So, and that again plays into the peg recovery. So, there's just so many factors that keep supporting the protocol indefinitely. And that is so different than other protocols that are purely, Ponzonomics or reliant on new users and new buyers to get involved. So I guess the overall wrap up is, and again, today's topic is narrative. The narrative and the psychology and the real numbers and real math all make the horizon, very, very bright for the future of EMP Fusion. So, Ella, you want to, again, anything you want to add?
The future is very bright. Go get your shades ready.
I love it. Yeah. So, all right. Well, one of those major revenue streams that we keep talking about is honor versus madness. So, Ella, again, I know I'm letting you do a lot of talking today, but we have a lot of really bullish stats that we wanted to share and maybe go over again a little more updates on honor versus madness, and then I'll elaborate for sure.
Yes. So on our last AMA, I kind of touched on some of the stats, but I actually put the full stats today. So we're going to go through them. So we've been really, really full on getting ready for our token launch for Honor versus Madness. Also continuing on full steam ahead with game development. And we've been having 2 or 3 meetings every week to get everything super fine-tuned. AJ and I met today to fine-tune the schedule and marketing rollout for the token launch and get all that ready before our next full team meeting. Things are really, really progressing and moving forwards. And just a reminder that Honor versus Madness is going to be a 10% revenue stream for Fusion. So 10% of all revenue from Honor versus Madness is going to funnel straight into Fusion. So that is going to be absolutely massive. So I want you to keep that factor into mind as I give you these statistics. So 10% of revenue. Now, obviously, these statistics are very much centered around token appreciation and not so much on the game's performance themselves. But the games have been extremely successful themselves. So these token statistics are just a small glimpse of what the games themselves have been able to do revenue-wise. But the reason we pulled token statistics is because we're getting ready for our token launch, and they're part of our marketing campaign. So that's why I have these ready. But just keep in mind that the token is a really great earning opportunity, whether or not you plan to play the game. And we have some really, really exciting surprises for added value if you're planning to get in during the pre-sale. So there's 4 main games that we believe are great comparisons. The first one is Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity saw 164,000% appreciation at all-time highs in November 2021. And what's crazy, I was saying this to AJ, the majority of our community are used to investing in DeFi projects. And in DeFi, what typically happens is you experience your all-time highs very shortly after launch. So you launch a token, you have this high, and then the price starts coming down. And if you're good like us, it stays pretty steady for quite a long time. Most tokens in DeFi kind of pump and dump. Not so much ours, but in these games, I really want you to pay attention to the lengths of when they hit their all-time highs, because I found that part most impressive. So Axie Infinity hit 164,000% appreciation at all-time highs in November 2021, which was 1 year post-launch. So they built up gradually and hit their all-time high an entire year after they launched. I thought that was incredible.
For sure.
Market cap highs reached 9.7 billion, and currently the average daily trading volume is over 30 million.
Yeah,
Let that sink in.
exactly. I was just gonna say. So obviously, a lot of these stats are gonna be the token appreciation, but again, that alone, that's today's trading volume. You know, obviously, we're gonna have our own marketplace as well, and even if we had a fraction of that, the amount of revenue that could generate, not only to support the token price of Autoverse Madness, but also to come back to EMP Fusion, is just mind blowing. And we have even more stats that support that. So sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
LA. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, for Gods Unchained, which is our next one, I do have a glimpse into their game revenue as well. So if you're really interested in hearing how this applies to the Fusion revenue, perk up your ears even more. So Gods Unchained, their coins Gods, saw a 3,565% price appreciation at all-time highs in November 2021, which was 1 month after launch. Their all-time high volume was 412 million. Their all-time high market cap reached 163 million. And there is an average of 10 million per day in volume on the marketplace within the game. 10 million per day in volume on the marketplace within the game. On average.
Unbelievable. Totally.
Per day. 10 million per day.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, just to do some quick math on that, even at a 3% fee, marketplace fee, that is about 300K in daily revenue, which means EMP Fusion would be getting $30,000 a day just from our 10% split. So again, I mean, what we could do with 30 grand a day in terms of APR is just absolutely mind blowing.
And even if we did 10% of that and it brought $3,000 a day.
Exactly.
That would still be a great revenue stream.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, I mean, just to like really, really lowball it, if we could do 10% of what they do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, that's, almost doubling, just even the majority of the revenue. I mean, again, and this is when we're down. I mean, that doesn't even include the market recovering overall. Volume could be doing 5 to 10x what we see even today on all the exchanges. I mean, these numbers are just they sound, unbelievable and too high and over exaggerated, but I can promise you it is absolutely a reality in the landscape that we are currently in, for sure.
Mhm. The next one, Illuvium, ILV. I just happened to notice yesterday that it's currently ranked 153 overall on CoinGecko. Currently today, they saw a 3,723% appreciation at all-time highs, which was 7 months after launch. Their all-time high market cap reached 1.1 billion, and the average daily trading volume is over 13 million currently.
Incredible. Well, and another reason why the daily volume on the token matters is because, ultimately that trading volume will also be under our own DEXs, which, from that alone can be, an amazing amount of fees, not only to LP providers, because again, moving to V3, the majority of fees are shared with the actual LP providers, but it also just creates uh, more and more trading volume on our own exchanges. So there's just so many ways that we can integrate, uh, to add support to the ecosystem.
Yeah. Last one is Star Atlas with their coin Atlas. Atlas saw a 730% price appreciation at all-time highs, which was 7 months after launch. All-time high market cap reached 430 million, and the average daily trading volume currently is over 1.4 million. So these are all just so bullish, and if we can do even a portion of what they're doing, we will be flying high.
For sure, no doubt. I mean, again, we're big on the actual numbers. Obviously, we can say, the gaming token is going to go to the moon. But I think that again, back to the topic of today, the narrative of GameFi, we that is such a strong narrative, and with everything that we've learned from all of our successes, we feel like this is just going to be an absolute home run. That we have all the puzzle pieces in place, and we can capitalize on an actual token launch. And we really haven't done a token launch like this. So that is again an untapped opportunity that we can really get behind. Obviously, we have Spark and Cedo, but those were just emission based tokens. This token will have a supply cap. It will be launched much differently. And so, again, the amount of success could be unmatched, especially within our own ecosystem. And crypto overall. I mean, again, we'll put out more of a timeline in the next few days, but the whole idea is that we do pre-sale, we then ramp up a public sale, and then we actually do a TGE token generating event, which when the token goes live later this year, and that will be perfect timing for the flat out bull run where everybody and their brother throws $1,000 at every token that launches, period. So the amount of appetite will be enormous for this for sure. And again, I'm a firm believer GameFi is one of the strongest narratives in all of crypto. I think gaming resonates really well with crypto users, and I think crypto it will be a major onboarding tool for crypto because people that may not really know about crypto but love to play games, this could be an amazing way to get them into crypto. And if they do it through the safety and security of our ecosystem, then we build a customer for life. And that is really, really powerful in terms of brand loyalty and future support of the entire EMP franchise. So we have again a very specific plan to make all of that happen for sure. So all right, a few more updates or points to make. LA, do you want to go into that at all, or I mean we covered a lot of this already, but
Well, I just want to say that between the different members on the team, there's an extreme amount of both gaming and crypto knowledge. And I think you guys have been a part of a lot of game launches, and it's pretty easy to see after the fact, not right when you're part of a team and in something, but after the fact when you've been a part of something maybe as one of the largest investors, you can see the pros and cons of what they did really well and what they could have improved upon. And you guys have really taken note on the games that you've been a part of what you think they could have done slightly better and what you want to improve upon in this game. And I've heard a lot of conversations surrounding this in our numerous calls. And I think that that's something really important to note, that there's a really strong team, on working on this, and that there's big money invested into other games that they're still passionate about and they're still learning from, with what other teams are doing really well and what other teams could really improve upon. And that's not throwing any shade at all on other teams, but everyone has eras where they build and they learn and they grow as they go. I'm sure you've seen us get better from a year ago
for
than,
sure.
you know, and do things better now than we may have a year ago, because we've learned and we've grown since then. And, you know, same thing goes with the different games that they're a part of. I've heard on every single call we've been a part of, they've mentioned different things that, they did this and this caused this to happen. We're going to do this way to prevent that, and I think that that is going to be the reason that this is going to be extremely strong. Can you go into that a little bit, AJ?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, to Ella's point, we have assembled, what I consider the dream team. So obviously, Ella and I, are core members. We have Julius, who is the art director. We have Simon, who is a personal friend of mine. He's actually the one that got me into Splinterlands to begin with. I bought a maximum gold foil deck, alpha. Well, I think it wasn't gold foil, it was an alpha deck for $10,000, and currently that deck is worth about 200,000. So again, the price appreciation not only of the gaming assets, but also the token can be astronomical. And knowing what I know in terms of running successful crypto projects, but also the gaming specific crypto projects, I mean, we bring a lot to the table, and Ella's expertise in marketing. Again, we dropped a little bit of alpha on the last AMA. We're looking at hiring an incredibly talented marketing and PR firm that has clients that are blue chip projects with massive, massive reach. The gaming studio alone has launched other AAA titles. So again, just to be clear, we have our management team, which is when I say team, that's what I refer to. But then we have the development team, which again is the same team behind all of our franchises. DexFi and EMP, the same people that have built all of our exchanges. Our dev team of over 30, they will be responsible for, the crypto integration, the token launch, all the crypto aspects. And then we have a massive team of over 100 people that we have hired through the game development studio. So again, we're finalizing. I just signed the paperwork last night actually. So once we have it back from them, we'll be able to announce who it is. But this is an established gaming studio. It's worked for Netflix, Mitsubishi, Pepsi. They have shareholders. They're, a legitimate development team, gaming development team, not just, some people in their basement, making animation. So, we have everything in place for a massive success that, other GameFi projects that have 1% of what we have raised millions and millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. And we feel we can easily, deliver on that, and compete with the overall GameFi blue chips for sure. So, all right, does that answer LA? Was there anything else specifically you wanted me to go into in terms of our experience or team
No,
or
I think
Splinterlands?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're good. Yeah.
cool. All right, awesome. Well, one more update then, and then we'll get to questions. Some alpha for all of you that actually come to the AMAs and stick around to the very end. We are going to be launching a new farm on Sparkswap. Hopefully sometime tomorrow. It is with a protocol that is very well known in the Pulse Chain ecosystem. And we will be launching two farms. So again, this will help Spark and SDI. I have not announced it to the other community, so I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble and say what it actually is. But I know a lot of you have the token already, and so keep an eye out for the announcement. And again, hopefully tomorrow. On how to get involved, but this should really help build the volume on SparkSwap and bring a lot of new eyeballs over to Sparkswap as well. It's a really, really dedicated community and part of, again, the core infrastructure of Pulse Chain. And Pulse has been looking good. I mean, obviously it's down and all-time lows, but this is a perfect time to launch a new farm that will get more buying pressure on Spark. Because again, those that are buying the lows, will get way more price appreciation, when we do get away from the inflation, and fully recover, when we don't have to worry about the uncontrolled printing of Spark for those that don't know how to utilize it properly and put it into Sparkler. So, again, it's really bullish and keep an eye out for the announcement sometime tomorrow. But get ready. And as long as you have Spark or SDI, you'll be ready for the other side of the pair. So this other token you will need, but I know a lot of you already have it. So, and I just don't want to get in trouble by saying it too early ahead of the announcement. So, all right, awesome. All right, LA, any other last minute updates or anything you want to add before we get into questions?
No, I think we can move on to some questions.
Cool. All right.
All right, let's start with a few on Discord, and then I've seen some in the YouTube also. Right. Question about helping the system to reach peg a bit faster. Is it possible for a day or so to buy EMP from the revenue instead of giving it to us to create some FOMO and bring us back to peg faster? The treasury can distribute it again when we reach peg, so it's a loan with good conditions for everybody. 4x to 5x, maybe with a vote from the community.
Yeah, so there was a suggestion that was similar to this on Discord. I mean, number one, we already do have this in place. I think people just maybe don't realize that, and that is through the BBE. So you're getting the bonus value without having to wait on your returns, and it really is a 4 or 5x, when you consider the current levels. So the short answer is this is a pretty good idea, and we already have it in place in an even more attractive manner that doesn't require you to lock up your funds or miss out on uh, yielding, and that is through the BBE. So again, under the hood, we don't do it automatically because we don't want to just murder the eShare price with uncontrolled selling, but we are strategically using the BBE eShare to buy EMP and support it again through not only eShare but also the yield that the treasury earns as well. So yeah, does that make sense, LA? I don't know if you want to again simplify that.
Perfect sense. Yeah, it's
Okay.
literally exactly what BPE is. So perfect sense. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
In the AMA, it was mentioned that the legacy contracts will be taken care of after the peg. Does this mean V3 will come after that as well?
Yeah, so I know, obviously, people are a bit anxious to get V3 out. Um, and I saw some comments today of like, why don't we fast track V3 to help with the selling pressure? And honestly, we have done the on-chain analysis, and a lot of people that are claiming from DOS or any of the legacy contracts, the vast majority of them are manually sacrificing. So it really isn't a matter of like, why don't we do this fast because, it will stop the bleeding. Obviously, it will a little bit in terms of the contract balances, but in terms of selling pressure on EMP and eShare, that really isn't an issue at the moment. So yeah, I mean, obviously it is still something we're trying to do as fast as possible, but like I've said many times, it's not as simple as it sounds. V3 requires, again, a full day of coding, monitoring the migration. It's over $1,000 in gas fees, and right now we're working on things that have an immediate impact on PEG, and in terms of priorities. So again, LA, you want to elaborate on that, or I think that pretty much answers it.
Yeah. I saw some comments in the EMP chat on Telegram yesterday that said, you know, we need to get the detonator stuff done immediately. It should be the highest priority to get back to peg faster. But that was kind of what I was alluding to earlier when I said, everyone sees things through their own lens based on their own experiences. And while I absolutely respected that person, to them, it was their highest priority based on their holdings. It's just not the highest priority overall right now based on how much is actually being claimed per day, because a lot of people aren't claiming or compounding right now, to be quite honest.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a great deal of people that aren't doing anything at all. In fact, yesterday Detonator didn't even roll over, I believe. I heard some chatter about because nobody took any action on the contract at all. So it's just not the highest priority right now. And our highest priority right now is getting back to PEG and a recovery of the entire ecosystem, which in itself will greatly help Detonator.
Yeah, no
And
doubt. And
so,
that's was the last point I was going to make. Again, sorry to cut you off, but that is a much better metric than V3. I mean, obviously V3 will help, but the higher the price of EMP, that is what really matters in, detonator specifically. So yeah, that's again a perfect point, LA. Is that we are absolutely working on all of this, but we have to prioritize on what has the biggest impact.
for sure. All right. I've heard that we're going to merge all the different projects into one for the mega DEX. Are the 404 NFTs going to still continue when that happens? I'm trying to decide if I should DCA into those or just keep adding more into Fusion. I know you can't give financial advice, but knowing if 404s will continue to pay in the long run will help me decide how to distribute my DCA.
Yeah, no, very good question. And yes, I mean, although I can't really answer this specifically because we haven't put out the information yet, I can say that none of our contracts are ever fully abandoned. So take that for what it's worth. Again, we always suggest DCAing on any asset, whether it's ours or not. But I mean, again, in the full migration of all of our DEXs down into one DEX, all of the contracts and tokens and positions will absolutely be accounted for when we make that transition. So again, I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but hopefully that answers that question. If you read between the lines, right, LA?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you did a job
Okay.
answering. Yeah. I answered this one in the YouTube, but I'll ask it out loud. Any chance we can sacrifice unused cash out batteries into our microgrid? And I just wrote, unfortunately not, but you may very well use them in the future.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. Well, and just to give one more little bit on that, I mean, the reason that is because it would be a complete exploit and literally ruin the economics that we have built. Because the whole point is that we don't want to allow, selling pressure on those assets by, enabling that. So, yeah, go ahead.
And I just wanted to remind you of something that AJ said on a couple of the previous AMAs where, right now it may be very bullish to use the ETH battery, for example, or even the BNB one, because we expect those to really greatly appreciate as we go into the full swing of the bull run. But there is going to be a point where those assets really level out and maybe they hit a peak, and we expect maybe they're going to start coming down again at some point, and maybe we want to turn off the ETH battery and activate the USDT battery. And if you have both of them, maybe you hadn't used the USDT battery for all this time, and maybe you switch them up and you deactivate one and you activate the other. So it's not a bad thing to have one that's not active right now, because you never know, you may want to switch up your strategy at some point.
I love it. Yep, 100%. And again, that will be even more relevant when we have more and more batteries. Again, I mean, it's only been what, about a month, but we're working on three, actually four brand new batteries right now, and those are already in development. I mean, a year from now we could have hundreds, literally hundreds of batteries. So there will be plenty of use case and utility. Unfortunately, you just have to wait for it.
For sure. All right, let's see what other questions we've got here. It seems like he answered his own question with this. Can you talk about how one's microgrid will be 4 or 5 times worth more than what it is now?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, two reasons. It's actually ends up being much more than even that. But not only are you getting the peg bonus, so as of right now, again, we are roughly 25% at peg, meaning it's about a 4x or 4 times your value in terms of EMP. The 4,000 to 1 ratio puts EMP roughly what about 85 cents, and we're currently at 20 cents. So that right there is a 4x, a little over actually. And then the price of Ethereum. So not only are you getting the X's in terms of the peg value of EMP, but then again, because we're able to maintain or correlate with the actual 4,000 to 1 ratio, if if ETH goes to $8,000 rather than $3,000 or $4,000, that is again a double on top of everything. So you're getting an X on top of an X in terms of return, which is just insanity. So and the reason that dashboard money becomes actual gains is because nobody is going to be able to get EMP under market value, and the only way to get into Fusion at that point would be through somebody else selling microgrids. So does that answer?
Yeah, just craziness.
Totally.
Okay. What do you think will be a healthy price for eShare to settle around $100?
Yeah, I find this funny too, because it really if we don't say to ourselves, yeah, let's make eShare $100. I mean, again,
No.
it's all based on the market and what the market will bear. However, historically speaking, at one point eShares were in the thousands of dollars each. But just even if you don't have that history and you just, again, go on the numbers, the math. Well, we are an extremely low market cap right now. Um, I'll tell you what it is right now, actually. So the eShare market cap is only $1.3 million. I mean, most meme tokens have a minimum of a $10 million market cap. So that would be a 10x from here, which puts eShare at $200. And we have a very, very low supply. So LA and I just went through this today, uh, updating the documents. But, there's roughly, if you account for the burn and other locked contracts, there's only about 50,000 eShare in existence. So 50,000. And that, again, is an extremely low supply in terms of crypto total supply. So, and yes, eShare is inflationary, but only probably for the next 6 months because after the next halving, we feel like we'll be able to burn way more uh, throughout the year than the emissions. So we're on the precipice of making eShare really powerful. And again, all the revenue that we distribute to Fusion, we have to go and buy eShare first. So that is the only way to distribute rewards as energy is by buying eShare. So all of that, along with the burning and moving into stage 2 and 3 after peg recovery, could make eShare absolutely, explode. So again, we don't like to discuss prices, but there are a lot of factors in play that will make eShare very healthy over the next year, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. I had my next question and then it moved my place. Darn. Okay, so you already touched on Detonator V3. I have a node. What's the best way to get my earnings from the node into Fusion? Reading the white paper, I learned that node earnings will be migrated to Fusion at a future date. Should I just wait?
Um, I mean, the short answer is no. You can claim from nodes and just sacrifice that EMP directly into Fusion. So you don't have to wait. Where nodes are a very unique situation because it's actual EMP that has been sacrificed or deposited into nodes. But again, it seems like nodes comes up on every AMA. So listen to some of the older AMAs. But the plan is that we're working on a potential way to speed up that process. But for now, you can just claim and put that into Fusion, or even speculate on nodes, just like with Detonator or anything else. I mean, again, we don't really know the numbers because it hasn't been long enough yet, but there may be an argument to be made that you can earn more sacrifice points going into those legacy contracts now than you would just sacrificing outright. But again, that is not financial advice. What you need to be doing again, not financial advice, but what we need to be doing as a community is just getting as much EMP off the market and sacrificed as possible, no matter how you do it.
All right. The only other question was about the nodes, and I'm going to refer that user to our two AMAs last week because we do have timestamps as we answered that on both of those AMAs already last week. So we're not going to answer it again this week.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. So I think that's it.
All right. Well, that was again a really good to the point AMA. We did all right. We only were 25 minutes over the hour, so we're getting more and more streamlined, LA. All right.
Killer.
Yeah, totally. Again, we appreciate all of you showing up. You know, we do these AMAs because it is the most efficient way of us to communicate with all of you. I know that any specific questions in the chat. We do our best to answer, but this is really the platform to get, the most up-to-date info and to get the most correct and concise info and honestly, an insight into, the development process of what we're building. So thank you all for continuing to support the AMAs and the protocol overall. Again, we're super excited for the future. I think that we're just getting started, and we're already halfway through July, and time is flying. So hopefully a lot more updates over the next few weeks, and major updates, not just announcements here and there. So the development meeting today was really powerful. So we're ahead of schedule in a few major rollouts. So all right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to add? Go ahead, Ellie. Any final words?
No, just reactions to what you were saying. Yeah, lots of bullish stuff on the horizon. So we're rocking and rolling, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys again on Thursday. Thanks for coming. Remember to smash that like button. Let's try to beat last month's 214,000 minutes.
I
What
love
can we
it.
do this month?
Yeah, no doubt. Just keep watching your videos while you're at work. Pull up the EMP videos and let them roll, right? So yeah, I love it. But yeah, absolutely, LA. Again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Please keep an eye out for the new farm announcement over on Spark. That will be sometime tomorrow, most likely afternoon Eastern, and you can choose to participate in that. And as always, our number one goal as a community is to just get as much EMP bought off the market and sacrificed into EMP Fusion that we can. I saw a few good deals pop up on microgrids as well, so make sure that you're looking at the peer-to-peer market and just get ready for what is about to come. I mean, again, a 14% increase on Bitcoin and Ethereum within the last 7 days. It's just unbelievable. And we're in the middle of the summer. I mean, again, come September, October, into early next year, we are going to see numbers that will literally blow your mind. So get ready, get excited for all that, and use EMP and our entire franchise as a home base during that rapid growth. So, all right, much love to all of you. Good night, good day. We will see you on Thursday.